We got to change with the market. We got to change. We need not look outside the world to change. We got to change ourselves. Then the people around us will change.
Hello, everybody. This is Jake Stenziano, host of Wheelbarrow Profits Podcast, here with my co-host, the multifamily mentor, the coach, the chef, the father of six, the best-selling author, the G-Daddy, Gino Barbaro. Gino, how's it going?
Mr. Stenziano, I'm ready to go, bro. How are you doing?
I'm always making it happen, big man. What's going on in the world of Gino multifamily right now?
Well, we're having issues with the lighting in our studio, right, Mr. Stenziano? But we're going to make it happen. We're going to push through it. Patience, persistence, and not willing to walk away on this one, right, Jake?
We're hanging in there for this one. That's correct.
A lot of stuff is going on. We've got an awesome guest today. He's making millions and millions in multifamily. He's riding the wave. He's actually vertically integrated like we are. That's what we love. We love bringing on operators who are doing stuff, making it happen. I think we signed a big contract this week also, didn't we? We've got a
little pen to paper, huh?
3 refis going on. We've got a lot of stuff going on. It's been exciting the last couple of months. It really has. We had Robert Kiyosaki in our podcast last week. That was a huge win for me. The Jake and Gino community is growing. We've got a lot of students that are putting deals together. I just want to personally thank everybody, for listening to us, for making us the #1 multifamily podcast on iTunes. That to me has been like, I don't want to say a dream come true, but that's been amazing. Just been having to go. Thank you for over 3 years. And it's been really great talking about multifamily and learning with the process. Because when you speak to guys like Vinney, as we are today, and when you speak to guys like Robert Kiyosaki, they're doing it. They've been doing it, and you learn from them. So we've been really busy.
Well, I don't want to steal the G-Dad's thunder here, but he's talking about Mr. Smiles himself, Vinney Chopra. Vinney came to the country over 40 years ago with $7 in his pocket. Fast forward to today, and he's one of the most successful multifamily syndicators in the country. And Vinney, that is totally awesome, and we're so honored, and it's just a pleasure to have you back on the show. So welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jake Gino. I really appreciate having me back, and it's such a pleasure to see you guys' success. Kudos to you. I'm so proud and so happy to see the success. And it's exciting to see the fruits of labor, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think that I got here where I am easily. That's not true. So the key thing is that persistence, that hard work, that positive attitude, the smiling every time into the face of adversity and all that. So I'm looking forward to it today. Yeah.
Vinney, did you ever imagine when you first started out that you'd become this real estate mogul, and how has that changed your perception of success?
I always have been a goal setter in my life. My friends tell me even in my junior high school, I used to write down goals, and I knew probably in junior high, I'll be coming to USA. Can you believe it? And then high school, I topped in the university, in the area, my high school and all that. Then I went to mechanical engineering school, worked my hardest there, gave my best and passed with distinction with scholarship. Then worked with Larsen Toubro. I always just set my goals higher, but I never imagined that I'll be in real estate, in commercial real estate, not the residential, in USA 40 years later. I came here with few $7 and got into consulting. I left my engineering behind, right? That was the best decision I made. I would be really, really a very different boy, man, if I had stayed, in the engineering field. When I did my MBA in marketing, that just opened me up. When I sold encyclopedias and Bibles and all, that just showed me that I need to be out there in the public, be out there.
Vinney, let me ask you a question. What makes this country great? That somebody that can come here with $7 to their name. I mean, my parents did the same thing and actually not even survive, but thrive and create generational wealth.
I would say, the biggest thing I find with the foreigners, USA is built of foreigners actually, but the young people who come with a dream, and if they are willing to put the efforts, I would say, and keep grounded and work hard, because I have worked very hard, in my professional fundraising, and I was at the bottom of the pile, by the way, in that company, and I didn't give up. I mean, I had success in book sales encyclopedia sales, but I was a failure right at the bottom of the pile. And I just then had a meeting with myself and said, why are you where you are? And that's a big thing. We need to look at what we have accomplished in the last 6 months or a year. And if we are not moving in the right direction, not growing, not really learning more, then we need to sit down and talk to ourselves and say, why are we not doing that? So I think that's important. If we keep in mind, goal setting is the biggest thing. Focus, action, and goal setting. Those three things I find. A lot of time people flounder. They just go in every direction. They want to do this and that and this and that. And then they just don't end up doing anything. If you just focus in and then don't just write all these big dreams. I mean, we can always write big dreams. We got to put deadlines to them to make them goals. And then we do action plans. I believe in action. I believe what happened 30 seconds before or half an hour before, I cannot change it. But I can change this moment and the moments ahead. That has been my, real success story. I always believe that we can achieve a lot more in one day than, we can put 3 days in one day. We could put 1 week in maybe 2 days, a month in 1 week. So always having that desire to excel and to stretch and to really grow.
I love that. What was the most challenging thing for you, Vinney, when you first started out in multifamily?
The biggest thing I would say, we were in single family, right? We kept on buying and they were okay. On the paper, they look good. We will increase the values and this and that. One actually did increase value, 65.5. We bought 65,000. It went to 315,000, by the way. We pulled out the cash at 3% at that time. That was the best thing we did. 280,000 we pulled out. So we invested then into buying more homes way back when. But then when we were looking, if the boiler went out or, some of the other things came, the cash flow went to zero. And I didn't like that. I said, oh my gosh. And, and the prices also went through cycles. I mean, the valuation. So that was the other hard, in my mind, I said, holy cow, I need to understand the market cycles because the single family homes have taken a dip. I should have sold it at the top. You know what I mean? So that way, when I became broker in 2004, I had the choice to really decide what I want to do. Do I need to go and start a brokerage, and sell homes and all that? Or I go into hospitality or, industrial and office space, things like that. But multifamily, being an engineer mind, logical mind, it just stuck with me. I said, oh my gosh, if I have 20 units and only 2 people leave for some reason, I have 18 left. And they can then survive. They can give the mortgage and everything. I won't go into any big troubles, So that logical mind really helped me. That's when I got into multifamily. We had little money, but we didn't have too much money. So then I was introduced with the syndication model in 2005, almost, 14 years back. So that caught my attention. And, it all started with buying that one book, Millionaire, Multifamily Millionaire, I think, Emerging Market. And I just highlighted every page. I remember. So that has been the real success I find. And then I found from zero investor how easy it was to get the next investor and next and next. So from zero, I went to 6 to went to 18. I said, oh my gosh, that's 3 times in such a short period of time. Then went to 37 investors, then to 86 investors, and then now to 130 investors. And they just kept on opening wallet more and more and more as they got the returns. So, and then they told more people about them, what the success they are getting with my investments. So syndication model is the best model in any country. I really believe that to scale up because there is $26 trillion of retirement money in the accounts. And only 5%, I think 3 to 5% of that is in real estate. So there is ton of money. When people think that, oh, I don't find investors, I don't buy that. I think they just don't know how to educate the investors, their family, friends, all the influence, all the people around them, to show them the ways why multifamily is the safest way to invest.
So give us a couple of tips of how you started to scale up from those 6 investors to those 18, and how do you educate those investors on putting money into real estate?
Surely. I always thought about, first of all, to start a good business, you have to be transparent. You have to really lay the right foundation so that the investors feel trust. You have to gain trust. That's the biggest thing, first of all. So by telling them and repeating them, and when we meet with them, our investors, I always meet with them on Zoom, or WebEx, or go to meetings, all for 11, 12 years. And I would also send them different articles every week. They will get something from me to talk about the areas I was looking into, because they need to know, the investors need to make up their mind, why I need to flow my money to that area. See, a lot of times nowadays, people are writing deals and everything, but they need to take care of the money part first. They need to make sure that the investors are going to bring the money to the table. Otherwise, they can't close. Syndicators can't close. So that's number one. Transparency is huge. So in every slide in my presentations, I tell them they could get anything they want from my accounting department: invoices, bids, correspondence, and all that. P&Ls, of course, everybody gives, rent rolls, capex, all schedules, bank statements, anything and everything they can get. My investors can walk or drive or fly to the properties, and they can shop without telling me. They could do anything they want. So that kind of transparency brings a lot of clout, a lot of trust. And once you start giving them the cash flow, because my model usually has been momentum plays. Other words, the properties need to be 90% occupied when we buy them, so that I give them 2% returns. Oh, by the way, I have never gotten hurt with not closing. I've closed all 26 transactions that I've done, syndications, on time without losing any sleep, because I give my investors 2% interest from the day they wired the money in the LLC account up to the day of closing. And then from the day of closing, I start paying them the cash flow preferred rate. So instead of keeping their money in the checking account, and they want to wait and wait and wait, they just wire the money. And now their money is earning money. See? So that has been a mantra of mine about 8 years back. And I collect about 99% of my commitments. 99%.
That's huge. Everyone's at 50%, right? I mean, people say soft commitments between 50 and 60%. So if you're collecting 99%, that is awesome. Let's go back to the very first syndication you did. If you can remember back, what were some of the stumbling steps and some of the things that really caught you off guard on that first syndication?
See, the very first one we did was where we bought 14 units on Monday, closed on them, and then 109 units on Friday, same week.
Wow.
But it took us 9 months to get that baby going. 9 months. Nobody will give us loans. Nobody will give us anything. So our first deal was a seller financing deal, 109 units with 101 storage units and a commercial building, all in one. Can you believe it? For $2.4 million, 2.4. But the seller kept us going around and round and round and round. We wanted, 20% down. Then we went to 25% down. They wouldn't go for it. So then the sellers decided they'll take 40% down, 40%. And we said, okay, we'll do it. $1 million down. So I had to raise $1,150,000 because of the closing costs and other stuff like that over there. The exciting part is at the end of the whole discussion, we sold that property and I gave my investors back 43.3% annualized return for over 5.5 years. So they tripled their money actually, because their returns were 200 some percent. So if anybody gave me 100, I gave them 100 back plus 200 some more, on top of it.
Wow.
So how did I raise that money? Back then, I remember I talk about it. Somebody referred me to a very nice person about 45 minutes away from me. And I just made an appointment. I went there and he was alone in the living room. And we sat and he says, Vinny, are you moving to Texas? I said, no. He says, do you have the loan taken care of? I said, no. A lot of things were no, 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 no. But the biggest thing was I was sincere. I said, multifamily is the way. Let me show you these 5 slides. I took my, a computer with me and I said, multifamily does this, 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 this. So whenever he had an objection, I went back to that again. He said, I like it. I'm going to write you a check for 50,000. I remember that. But then he increased it to 130,000 in the same deal as I kept in touch with him and where we are and everything like that. So it started from one investor, but then we found more people and more people. So I think 13 investors were in total, but it didn't come easy. I think the biggest thing I'd like to stress to your audience is you got to have a good credibility kit. We didn't have any credibility at all, right? But we had the what's the word? Like, something in writing. You got to show why you are excited about something. So right now I have credibility kit. I have investor educational brochure, I call it, about 30-page long, graphics and everything, and kind of explaining to them. So when I meet with investors, I show them, I teach them. At the end of 20, 30 minutes, they feel so great because they learned so much by just visiting with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then whether they are even working with me or investing with me, it doesn't matter. But if they get excited about it, they'll tell more people about it. And I always look at investor as not one investor. I look at 10 times because they have trees, they have leaves and branches in their family trees, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once they are really sold on you, they're going to tell more people and more people and more people. See, I never had a website. I had no social presence at all. Just 2 years now that I've had social, little bit presence. But at that time, my investors told their brother and sisters and their people at the party. So they started calling me, Vinny, we want to talk to you. So-and-so referred us. So that's how I grew to 87 investors. Can you believe it?
Mm-hmm.
And actually, even now, out of 130 investors, I've only met belly to belly with 28 of them. Just 28.
Wow. And how are you finding deals now? Because we talked off camera that you sold a lot of your assets. Now, how are you out there finding those off market or pre-market deals?
Excellent. Yeah, I didn't sell everything, but I've sold like 12 of my 14 syndications with a partner before one. We have the last 2 to go there. In my 12 syndications I did within 2 years, actually. I did all those 12 every 2 months I was closing.
Wow.
I sold 4 out of them. One actually just sold, and I'm so proud of that. 3.550 sold for 8.5 million. Then another one I bought for 9.3, sold for 12.750, in the Houston market. Houston is still strong, and I own a lot of great properties there. I am cash flowing right now, 45,000 net in one property. Another one, very big one, is from 6 million I bought. It's worth 12 million, all that, so we're keeping those. But the best part is my network of broker has increased over the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go to a town, I just copy and paste a message. Vinny's coming to town, on these and these dates. And I would love, if you have anything in the pipeline, please let me know. And then they get prepared before I go to Atlanta, before I go to Texas, before I go to North Carolina, things like that. So it's the broker relationship. Gino, I've not really done campaigns. I know a lot of people do that, but I just felt like if I can meet with the big cheeses in one particular market where I'm going to buy, then they will keep me in mind. And then also because once you perform right, you become a performer. So people are always looking for people who can close on time. They don't give too much headaches. The
Hmm.
brokers tend to work with them. I'm a broker in California, but I never ever have taken split commissions. I made a decision that I'm going to tell the broker there, listing broker, that you will have dual agency. You'll represent me also. And that has really served me well. So that way they make double the money and they want to sell it before they give it out to everybody in their, office, you could say, or branch and so forth like that. So it has been a really tremendous, network of brokers. I think that's how I get my deals. And a lot of people are calling me. I get about 20 to 40 deals actually in just a couple of days, all over. So I'm giving them to my students now. They're all over USA. So I said, hey, go for it. And then we do deal analysis. I do master coaching, mastermind once a week, 2 hours. And as many students can come in, we record and everything. Those who can't, they get the list, recordings and all that. So to answer your question, adjustment is coming. We all understand that, right? Last year was a very peak year, kind of hot year. I didn't buy anything. Didn't buy. We underwrote. Didn't make sense. People were trying to pay a lot more monies and things like that. But I think with the interest rate notching up a little bit more, I think the cap rates going a little bit higher. Expectations from the sellers are getting a little bit lower, which is good. And then also expectation from the investors to teach them also those heydays of 9% preferred or 10 days preferred are gone. They should be ready for 7%, or 6.5%. So by educating the investor also, it has been pretty good adjustment, I think. We have to change with the times.
So, Vinny, how are you setting up your syndications right now as far as your preferred returns and splits like that? What are you offering your investors in this market?
Totally. Gino, what I did was last year, I thought because I knew I'll be selling some assets, like I've given, I think, close to $14 million back to my investors, and they're calling me. They say, Vinny, where is the next one? Where's the next one? Because that money, they don't want to put it in the bank, just not earning any money. So you're right. What is happening is I decided, logical mind again, I said, hey, the deals are not coming. I'm not able to underwrite. Let me just start a fund. So that's what I did with Kim Taylor, who has been my syndication attorney from attorneys.com. You know her very well.
Yes.
Yeah, right
Yep.
there from St. Augustine. Wonderful lady and very good friend. She's done all my 27 syndications with Gene Trowbridge and her. And so we did a fund. So I have a $50 million fund, paperwork all done, everything. So in this fund, it's good for 2 years. That's the exciting part. You could start raising money, then you can stop anytime you want, and then you can start again with the same legal paperwork. And then I'm hiring a fund administrator from Beverly Hills. Ken asked me, who is tremendous. He was a hedge fund manager. There's a very boutique company. So he'll be the one who'll be overseeing and auditing my fund and doing all the truing up of the investors coming in, distributions going out, their net, percentages and things like that. Because I've never done a fund. So I like to go to the very best people in the country and then hire, have them consult with me. So that's what I am. I have legal paperwork, DocuSign, everything ready to go. If anybody's interested, accredited investors, it's a 506C fund. It's a blind pool, but because of my track record, people are able to just get attracted. I could share with them what I have given, 18 to 27% IRR, or annual returns per year, and up to 69% per year. That's only one deal. But then 43.3 and 39.6 and all that, but average has been 18 to what kind of percentage preferred return? I'm glad you said that. What we decided was this is very exciting, by the way. It will be good for your audience too. It's good to give returns in a step up. What do I mean by that? See, you could do 7% for 100,000. So from 100 to 249, they get 7% return. Then from 250 to 499, they get 8% return. But from 500,000 plus, they get 9% return. So that is how I step up in my fund also.
Mhm.
So I'm having people open their wallet, they're saying, Vinny, I want to be in that higher level. So now I got 500,000. Some families are saying 700 with me now in the fund, some 800 now. Can you believe that? That's going to take me so much longer to raise that 8 times, if it's 100,000 each. So
Mhm.
that's what I'm believing. I've always believed in thinking bigger than bigger and bigger, because it's out there. See, people have money, and it's how you make them comfortable.
Vinny, how did you get the idea of creating the fund or the pool? Where did the idea come from?
To be very truthful, I was thinking about the fund idea 7 years back. Can you believe it? My Sienna Villa property, the one I just sold and gave almost, double the money in so quick time and so forth. I did a fund that time
Hmm.
also. But my investors didn't really, and I was naive and everything, I didn't really relate to them that well. So I closed the fund. So I did that idea way back, but then
Hmm.
I started doing, because a lot of money was coming in, but I didn't have. Oh no, some people were very angry because I will sell out in 7 hours. I'll send the package out in the morning on Saturday morning or something, and by 4 o'clock I was done. So a lot of people were saying, Vinny, I couldn't get in. I couldn't get in. So I started putting two properties together. So I did Monil Duo, then I put Monil Tri, which is three properties together, so that I
Hmm.
could have more people get into my deals. So that was also a fund, but it was a specific fund because I had three deals already decided upon, and it was a fund on the top, and they bought all three deals, right? Then I
Hmm.
did Monil Atlanta. So this fund is a blind fund. This is a blind fund because I knew I'll be giving a lot of money back to my investors. So I needed an avenue to get that money back quickly
Hmm.
without even having a property. So that's how the idea came.
I love that. So, Vinny, you spoke about goals earlier in the show. What are your goals going forward this year, next year? What do you see for yourself in the future?
My goals are, as a matter of fact, to buy really good, strong B assets. I've totally gone from the C pluses to B in A area or B in B in more emerging markets like in the Floridas and Carolinas. We're looking some in Phoenix also. We're looking in Atlanta, of course. Texas is very strong. I'll always be there, in Texas. So my $50 million will get me maybe 250 million, quarter a billion, something
Hmm.
like that, or even more. Then my other passion right now is to teach what I've been doing and provide to the masses, a lot of good education. I think that's something which I'm very passionate about, and I enjoy that. That's a high for me when I
Hmm.
come out with a mastermind and look at the deals and give my knowledge and everything, give my templates and all that stuff. So, and I want to convert my lectures into Spanish, into Indian language and French and other kind of, do it the same all around the world. And then also, my book is getting finished up, things like that. But the biggest thing I would say is to really get involved in more charities also, where we have foundation and we are helping schools and youth and so forth. My youth academy, that's the other one I want to put a plug on. My another motto in life right now is to really teach the high school students and the college students. I think I'll be getting certified with my lectures in certain areas where students can go through and they can learn entrepreneurship and the real estate at an early age so that they could form an LLC. So simply, Wyoming LLC for 150 bucks and start really in the entrepreneur mind as they're going through school. And hopefully by the age of 21, they could be living free, having a duplex. They own a duplex, and one person on the resident or tenant is paying for them living in the other side. So those are some of the things about educating the youth is my really strong, on my mind, in my mind. Yeah.
I love that. Before we get to the short answers, I want you to see if you can answer this question. I mean, what would be the best tip for you to tell listeners on how to get into real estate, how they get into the commercial real estate?
I would say definitely decide first. You got to have the strong whys, what you want to accomplish in life. If you don't have the whys written down and really ingrained, and are you committed? See, the road is not easy. The road is not simple. You've got to immerse yourself and become a student of the career that you want to really get into. And a lot of, new students or investors are also W-2 job. I understand that. But you got to find time to learn techniques and learn the scripts and learn to apply. See, the thing is, when my students tell me, I didn't call anybody this week, I don't like that. I mean, that tells me that you're not committed to what you want to accomplish. If you do not find time and you are at the television or watching this or that, and you're always finding excuses, you won't go where you want to go. You won't. You've got to find time. You've got to act. That's what also Gino and Jake, I feel action and massive action. I mean, just stretching to the hilt. If it needs to be 3 hours, I got up at 4:00 today. I love it. I mean, when I was doing W-2 job, I never got up before 6:30. Now you don't need an alarm clock at all.
Mm-hmm.
You're just so passionate to do so much stuff that, you find time. That 24 hours become 36 hours. Maybe 28 hours for you, right?
All right, gang, let's take a quick time out to hear from our sponsor. Gino, I know a lot of our listeners are wanting to take their multifamily investing business to the next level. I know that you've been hard at work helping Jake and Gino students do just that using our framework. Can you explain to the listeners how they can get our help?
Guys, we've been hard at work growing our community of like-minded investors, and the results of our members has been nothing short of incredible. We're looking to grow this amazing group. What we're looking for is those who want to follow our proprietary framework that we've created. Buy right, manage right, and finance right. Leverage our connections, education, and mentorship as ways to take your business to the next level.
So if you're interested in finding out more about how you can become a part of our amazing community, apply to work with us at jakeandgino.com/apply. All right, Vinney, this is we're talking passion, we're talking excitement. What is your best habit though for success? You talked about getting up early. What is the one thing that has led to your success, that a habit that you do on a weekly basis?
Jake, I would say I can compartmentalize my work as the CEO of several companies and getting involved in so much stuff and all that. You are really stretched from every angle, to be truthful, to be able to really find time and allocate time for each activity, being proactive, I think it's the better word, so that you're not rushing from one meeting to next meeting, but trying to just utilize your time. That's number one, utilizing your time. And then also looking at what you're doing is right or not. See, we could, do so many activities, right, in a day. But if we don't do the most, what's the productive activities that get you the most results, like the 80-20 rule, right? That is so important. So you got to put the big things in your schedule, which will get you the maximum results. It could be only 20% or 30% of your time in a day, but you get massive results. That is so important. So I think in my whole outlook in a whole day, I start early, do my miracle morning, everything, I'm ready to go. And then it's just, poised look through the day. Challenges are going to come, but you got to just take a look at, okay, how can we overcome them?
It's a great point that you bring up, because I have a weekly meeting with each one of our property managers, and we have our quarterly rocks. These are quarterly big goals that are going to
Yes.
move the needle for the company. And what I've started to do is I've highlighted one specific rock, because there may be 3 or 4 on there, and I'm telling them I want this one item completed, no excuses, by the end of the quarter. That way we know we're taking the most important one, that 80-20 rule, and we're moving the needle to ensure that that piece is completed. Other things will be completed, but it's ensuring that that one most important item is done. And I think that is such a great example, and it's something that this is something recent that we've put this hyper focus on the most important rock. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you. Thank you, Jake. I really believe, I think we need to be seeing, did I accomplish, what I set it out yesterday or day before? If not, why not?
Yep.
See, I think that's the key. Many times we don't give feedback, positive or negative. Now, negative feedback will not let us do the same thing again. We got to just reward ourselves also, small or big. Rewards are so important, but then changing ourselves. See, the biggest thing I find is that if we don't change ourselves, we got to change with the market. We got to change. We need not look outside the world to change. We got to change ourselves. Then the people around us will change.
Vinney, you're just a master here. You're teeing me up so perfectly for my next question, because I want to know what the 2019, we're sitting here in the middle of February. What does 2019 look like for multifamily? Does buyer demand still exist? And are you going to start deploying some of those funds in that fund that you have?
I am totally, Jake. This is the year. Last year, like I mentioned, I was selling. I sold 4 assets, and we have 2 more in the old company being sold, so 6. But I'm ready to purchase. Yeah. The biggest thing is a lot of people are saying correction is coming. But in my thinking, I think maybe another, little bit hike in the rate, maybe one time, or maybe not even this year. The biggest thing I'm finding is that the just because of the euphoria is gone, 2018, the expectations are a little bit lowered by the sellers, and also the interest rate is not that bad. I mean, you could get 4.7 really good, 30-year, everything, and even 4.5 for interest rate. But these are good times. The multifamily overall is never going to die. With the investor nation, renter nation like we have, with the Gen and with the millennials and everybody, they are liking to be living in apartments, with nice amenities and all. That's why we're graduating to B class. We can't afford A class, things like that. So I think it's pretty strong. I mean, we should not. I think even if a contraction comes, logically, it all starts from, the people who are in the houses. If God forbid, it's not going to be as bad as 2007, 8 at all, first of all. But if they do lose home, they have to go to the apartment, see? A class or B. A will go to B is going to go to C is going to go to D, things like that. But the jobs are not going to, whenever there is contraction comes, it affects the hospitality, it affects the office spaces and the shopping centers, the buying power, all that. But the rental, the multifamily industry is very different there, and there wouldn't be that much adjustment.
So what's one tip that you can give investors to find their next deal? What is the one thing that you're saying, hey, this is what you got to do in 2019 to get out there and get your next investment done?
The biggest thing is, if they see the campaigns, letter campaigns, text campaigns, all that stuff, they take time. It also is built on how good a list they have and how much follow-up they'll do. They won't bring things real quickly. You have to go to 6 months to really get some notice, coming through from an individual seller outside of state and things like that. I think brokers are the real key, not to just be working with one broker. I always teach my students, you got to go into one area where you want to go to Marcus, go to Cushman, go to ARA, go to boutique, multifamily, everybody. Don't leave anybody aside, because each area, the sellers have different trees. They have different relationships with different brokers. So these deals are not going to come from one broker. They're going to be coming from all over the place. property management companies, huge, huge, huge. A lot of students, they don't do that. You got to start talking to several of the property management company, even though, because not everybody's going to start building their own company like me and you, so they need to be talking to them. They might find a great deal right from them too, because they know who's in trouble or who's going through divorce or who's, retiring and things like that. So deals can come, I think, in my thinking, more so from the brokers and also from the property management companies.
What about a book recommendation? You obviously have a super positive attitude. You got the smile slogan. What's a book that you've read? It doesn't have to be a multifamily book but a book that's positively impacted your life that you'd like to share with the audience.
I have read many, many books actually, and I would say, oh my gosh, there's so many that comes to my mind. One which I'm really now, audiobook I bought it on Audible, Book of Greatness. Book of Greatness. I hope everybody looks into that one that I'm listening to and so forth. But over the years, I've really enjoyed Jim Rohn's, the philosophies, Zig Ziglar's philosophies. Of course, listen to I'm going to Magic of Thinking Big. That's a huge book by W.J. Schwartz, because that really sets your mind to think differently. These are the old books. They were, Napoleon Hill, of course. The young investors should really read that one by, How to Think and Grow Rich. I think that's the book. And all those. So those are classic books. Nowadays, I think the biggest thing is a lot of time people don't have time to read. So I listen quite a bit, podcasts and the audible.com, and then also YouTube. It's amazing. YouTube and Google are the best teachers in this world, because you could say, I'm feeling depressed. Tell me in YouTube how to overcome depression or how to change myself.
And then Vinny's picture comes up. Right? No, okay, sorry.
But the thing is, there is so much right there. And I sometimes do that, in the morning. I say, let me just see here, which one shows up, and that can get you fired up. But it's the lasting firing up yourself. It's so important. See, we cannot go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. We got to just have that focus and just immerse ourselves in learning, in action, in focus.
Vinny, what project are you excited about right now?
When you say project, right? Definitely. In our company, in the management side of the business, we are really putting, our daughter, Monica, is really getting involved quite a bit for the last 2 years. And she's really taken over as the thing that I do, which is really great. As a counsel to CEO, I'm teaching, she's learning. She's a very smart kid, and then now we are training our management teams Monday and Friday. Jake, maybe you would like to do that in your company Monday at 12 o'clock Pacific, which is 2 o'clock. For 1 hour, we are teaching through Zoom. All the managers have to be, and leasing agents have to be right there in the meeting. And then the ones who are doing great job are teaching others. And then our HR director, our accounting department, all the different professionals are teaching. And we are going through different things about the courses we have bought online also. So we give them assignments and we track that they have seen ladder safety and this safety and that. And then, of course, the sexual harassment and other lots of different courses, through the insurance company. It's zero money, by the way. They give us the portal and everything. So we are using their portal to, educate. And we do it on Mondays and Fridays. And then MMRs, Monday morning reports, we have designed Google Docs, by the way, which is amazing. Monica brought that into our company. All these reports now in real time, right there. And then as soon as they are updated at the property, everybody is able to see it. Mm-hmm. And that has really gotten so great positive response from everybody in our whole management, because we have A to Z right there in this Google Sheets, which is with the tabs at the bottom. and everything is accounted for right there in real time.
Yeah, the Google Docs are great, and I'd love to collaborate with you on the
Sure. Love to.
What's the best way for folks to get a hold of you?
Actually, they could email me, Vinney@VinneyChopra.com. I will reply myself or my team, VINNEY @VinneyChopra.com. That's my website with the E in there, VINNEY, Chopra, CHOPRA.com. Or they could text the word syndication, SYNDICATION, to 474747. So that's something to partner with me or learn about syndication. I just got another word, learn, LEARN. It's a simpler word. I thought it'll be easier. Learn, just text it to 474747.
Excellent. I just want to thank everyone for listening. I want to thank Vinney for all the value that he's brought today. Gino, what else you got? Anything?
Well, to recap it, action steps for all the syndicators out there. First thing is goal setting. Set your goals. Why do you want to be in multifamily? Why do you want to syndicate deals? That's important. The goal is an outcome. Don't be tied to the outcome, because if you tie yourself to the outcome and it doesn't happen, you're not going to continue on. Create the system on how to, to hit your goal. So if your goal is to do your first syndication, what are the systems to do it? Well, the first thing that Vinney mentioned was to gain trust with investors. It's important. The second thing is to educate your investors, which is truly important. The third thing is to be transparent with your investors. That's really important. So if you can set up those three systems, don't worry about the outcome of the goal. If you're going to start talking to investors and you don't raise that money in the first or second time, your goal is to get on as many calls as possible, create the system to do that, and you will hit your outcome sooner or later, right? And I think one of the most important things that Vinney said is take care of the money first. We're all out there underwriting deals and looking at deals, but if you don't have access to capital, you can find the best deal on the planet and you're not going to be able to close. So those steps, Jake: gain trust, educate your investor, set goals, be totally transparent, take care of the money first. All those things need to get done if you're going to start syndicating, and have a clear thing. We all are looking for clarity. And how do you find clarity in your life? You ask yourself, what's important to you? I know it's important to me. It took me a long time to figure that out. Find out when you get off the podcast today, sit down and just meditate or think upon that. What is important to you? And from there, you can start planning out your day. That's all I got, Mr. Stenziano. What do you got?
Listen, you just gave the roadmap. So, if people found value on that, please go on iTunes, give us a positive review, because you just wrapped it up. So, great job there. And again, Vinney, thank you for your time. And we look forward to collaborating with you in the future.
Thanks, Vinney, so much. Thank you. And I want to give kudos to both of you, Jake and Gino. I mean, you guys are doing tremendous, and I have all the admiration for you and what you're accomplishing, and God bless you, and, reach the highest levels of success, many, many, many years to come. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Vinney. Bye, guys.